folks, and welcome to another episode of the Positude podcast. I am your host, Maggie Hart, here for another week, sitting here with a cup of coffee, ready to share some knowledge and stories with you, maybe some wisdom. I had an interview last night with Michael Vera, and he asked what I thought about the fog and the whole drone situation, and I told him, well, funnily enough, I did my whole show about that, which airs on his network on Wednesday nights. And I wanted to go into that a little bit more because I did do some deeper dives today and I came up with some more information that I thought I'd share with you. But at the end of the interview, he asked me for some predictions. And it occurred to me that I haven't done a prediction show in a really long time. And maybe I ought to, since that's one of my fortes. So we're going to start off with the heavy stuff. And then we're going to go into some more heavy stuff, but also some light stuff, and hopefully give you some guidance and knowledge for some of the things in the year ahead. And we might broach this in more detail as far as what I've seen coming for this year. But we're going to start here and see where it goes, and hopefully be able to give you some guidance, maybe some peace of mind, but absolutely some direction. I'd like for everybody to have some direction because I feel as though we're kind of like fireflies in the night. Some of us just lighting and then going out and then lighting and then going out. And some of us are putting out fires all over the place as we're being these little lightning bugs and taking care of others' needs. And it seems like we're torn in 100 different directions and we can't slow down and we can't catch up. And we're doing and doing and doing, but we're kind of spinning our wheels. We know that we're accomplishing things, but they're not necessarily things that we need to accomplish for our own mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional well-being. So, and that's going to be important, especially in this year ahead. This is the time that I've been telling you about for years. I've been reiterating that on my past few shows. I need to do it again today. This is the time we've been waiting for. It's here. And so it's important. It's imperative that we get our proverbial shit together. But more on that later after the break. So what's going on with these drones and the fog? I mentioned last week, and I played a clip of a lady who put together the drones with the fog and thought that maybe the drones were some sort of battery. I did find more credence to that today. I've never listened to this guy before, but he's Night God 333, and he doesn't have a lot of followers, which is okay. Nowadays, I don't seem to have the millions that I used to have, and I did have over 1 million listeners. It's kind of hard to even fathom right now with the changes in networks and all of the changes structurally that have happened, and then my almost 2-year hiatus thrown in there on top of that. But we're building things back up. Things are coming together. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to do me a webpage, still looking. I need somebody who has the creative ability to do what my vision is, but more importantly, I need someone that will relinquish the creative control somewhat to me because I need it to be aligned with my vision and what I see. So if you've got devil horns or if you've got, what you think would be great, that's fine. You can make suggestions, but repeatedly what I find is people just want to put their ideas into my platform. And I don't mean to sound egotistical or controlling, but it just doesn't work for what I'm trying to do. It needs to be fluid, and you're going to hear that word later in the show, by the way, and it needs to be something that aligns with what I stand for. And at the end of the day, if it's not appealing to me, if it looks too structured or doesn't look professional enough, looks like somebody who's just learning to do this did it, that's not going to be okay for me. And I'm a perfectionist to a degree, I will admit, but when it comes to my website, I'm looking for something specific. I'm looking for somebody who has the same kind of visionary qualities as I do to an extent that can appreciate what I'm trying to project and the image that I'm trying to put forth, which is the true essence of who I am. And if it seems scripted or fake or not in alignment with my beliefs, especially symbology and things like that, and if it doesn't look professional, then, I'm struggling with this. I know there's got to be somebody out there that can help me. So please get in touch with me at Maggie_Hart, Maggie_Hart at Outlook.com. And also for all of your spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental needs, life coaching, spiritual coaching, whatever you need, get in touch with me. I'd be happy to help you out. Will say that I do have parameters. So you can't call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you can't call me unless it's a life-threatening matter. Prayer work is one thing, but I'm not at your beck and call 24/7, and I do need to reiterate that because I have had a proverbial snutful of energy and psychic vampires for a while, and I can't allow that. I won't allow it, and I'm not your person for that. You need to go somewhere else for that if that's what you're looking for, because it's not me. I will help you. I will aid you and assist you. I will not bullshit you. I will not sugarcoat. I will be truthful and honest to the best of my abilities. But if you're going to try and play narcissist or spin things around and not take accountability for your own actions, then please don't even contact me. And I say that, not sounding mean, but you have to be willing to do your own work and own up to your own shortcomings. If you're looking to pass the buck and blame me or a therapist or your life or whatever on the circumstances that you're facing, and you're not willing to step up and do the work yourself and really do an honest self-evaluation on who you are and the type of person that you are now and that you want to be, and even revisit who you have been, then this isn't going to work for either one of us, and it's just a waste of both of our times. I needed to say that because that seems to be the trend nowadays, especially with the youths that are being raised in our society. There's no accountability. Everybody wants to pass the buck, and it's the poor me syndrome. You need to own your own shit. It's reality check time. It really is. And that's going to play into the second segment. But without further ado, let's get into this Night God 333. I'm going to play a couple of his clips about the fog because we've spoken before, although I don't know specifically on this show. I know I've done it in other interviews about the patents that are out there for these types of things. They've existed for a long time in the government. Some of it has just recently been unclassified, I think, or just at least brought into the public light. So there are some things that I think you need to be aware of. And if you are aware of them, that's great. But pay attention to them because they are absolutely what's happening now on our planet. And part of what we're going to go into on the second half of the show is the deception with the AI and the computer technology that's out there, folks. You can't trust anything anymore. Anything can be green screened. Anything can be fabricated. People, speeches, war zones, you name it. There's a very good chance, if you're watching it on mainstream media especially, that it's been fabricated or altered at least to some degree. So, and I know that's hard for some people to wrap their minds around, but that just means that you haven't woken up yet. And I'm going to pray that you will, and that eventually you'll come over to the good side, because we also have cookies. No, just kidding. Well, I do have cookies, but I might not share them. You have to be worthy. I make really good cookies, but just ask anybody. No, just kidding. No, I'm serious. Actually, I do make good cookies, but I will share. I'll share my cookies. So going into this, Night God 333, he did a video about the fog. The Fog. Sounds like a Stephen King book, right? Was it The Mist or the Fog that he did? I watched the movie. I thought it was cool. I'm not sure if it was him, the one where they were in the supermarket. Read the book, watched the movie, but anyway, it was awesome. Not a Stephen King fan anymore. I liked his classic stuff. His newer stuff got kind of blech. But patents. Let's talk about patents.
People online seem to be referencing certain patents created by the United States back in the early 1920s. Patents pertaining to weather control and cloud seeding. And after doing some research, you wouldn't believe the number of patents surrounding the weather and the manipulation of all kinds, from preventing hurricanes and hail to even creating cyclones. One patent even talks about using unmanned aerial vehicles to gain insight on these weather anomalies by flying up in the clouds and gathering data, transmitting it back to a server so subjects can better alter the weather or manipulate it. Although they don't talk about unmanned aerial vehicles actually altering the weather, this still raises some eyebrows. Let's take a look at this patent from 1920. This patent is titled Process and Apparatus for the Production of Intense Artificial Clouds, Fogs, or Mists. Was granted on April 27, 1920 to Paul Weiss and Jules Verdier, engineers from France. Here's the summarized breakdown. The objective: the patent describes a method and apparatus for producing intense artificial clouds, fogs, or mists by atomizing specific chemical mixtures in a controlled environment. 1. The chemical composition. The process uses ammoniacal gas combined with anhydrous chloride products or similar substances in a moist atmosphere. Hydrochloric acid gas, sulfurous anhydride, or similar substances may be added to intensify the opacity of the fog. The mechanism or the apparatus consists of steel flasks partially filled with compressed air and chemicals under pressure. These chemicals are atomized using a chimney structure that induces a strong upward current of air. The ammoniacal gas mixed with other components is released in a moist environment where it reacts to create dense fog or mist. Additional substances may be added to enhance the fog's intensity and opacity. The apparatus for producing artificial fog involves a chimney structure to create an air current and an atomization system for dispersing the fog-generating substances. The process atomizes anhydrous chloride in an ammoniacal atmosphere. An optional additional of substances such as acids further increase the fog's opacity. This method was likely intended for purposes requiring artificial fog, such as testing visibility conditions, military camouflage, industrial or theatrical effects. I'm not gonna lie, ammonia and anhydrous chloride and hydrochloric acid in the air doesn't sound very healthy. Crazy stuff, right? And here's some of the machines producing these so-called clouds. So needless to say, if they wanted, they could absolutely create a fog. They can create rain, they can create any weather you can believe. They can even alter certain situations. There's even a patent for stifling global warming, and it makes you wonder why they don't do this, why they don't use it more often to curb hurricanes or storms. So these patents, coupled with an even more intriguing patent, many say are what took place over this past week.
Okay, so did you catch the part about unmanned aerial vehicles? Drones? That is the same theory that girl had in her video last week, that the drones were affecting the particulates that were put in the air and possibly acting as a battery. She was definitely on the right path, in my opinion, at least as far as some of this drone activity. One thing that we didn't talk about last week, and I did want to get into, but just because of time, I decided to wait until this week. We talked about the particulate matter in the fog, but smart dust is a very huge thing. It's something we've all been hearing about for a long time now. And I can remember when I did my original podcast, the Positude podcast, back with my co-host at that time. I am looking to bring that format back. I know I've said that before, but again, in the interest of time, until I'm able to extend my spot to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I have to kind of pick my battles, as it were. But smart dust is a very real thing, and let's hear what he has to say about that.
Let's talk about smart dust. Originally patented for military use to keep track of soldiers' whereabouts and their vitals, they say they could even use smart dust to create super soldiers. It's a form of transhumanism, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. They can use it to track your heart rate. They can use it to track your temperature. It goes unnoticed by your immune system, flying under the radar. So your body naturally doesn't even try to fight it. It uploads to a user system similar to a computer. It has an interface, and it even has a processor and a cloud. It gives real-time data on your body, possibly your mind.
It's a project first dreamed up by the military to get information from the battlefield.
They call it smart dust, and the new technology may soon make it possible to keep track of anything, anywhere, including you.
Smart dust originated with DARPA back in the 90s. This powder-sized chip is something called the Mu chip from Hitachi. It's the smallest commercially available RFID system in the world. You can literally scatter this stuff like dust or embed it into a sheet of paper. It doesn't require a battery. Flecks of computing power settling on your skin, ingested, monitoring you inside and out.
The nanoparticles are designed to go under the radar of the immune system. And so they are undetected in the body.
We have computing everywhere, we have connectivity everywhere, we have infrastructure that can compute those with new capabilities like AI.
If you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible.
Transhumanism is a growing movement that aims to use technology to modify our bodies, sometimes in radical ways to make them stronger, faster, and better.
Okay, so just to give credit where it's due, that again was a clip from Night God 333 from his video, The Fog. He was able to condense things and put it together. And also, he had a clip from the news, which was really cool, I thought. So just some things to consider. This could very well be part of the stuff that's being sprayed into the skies in the form of chemtrails and possibly what was in this fog. Again, as I did some research today, over and over and over, so many reports and videos that were forwarded over from TikTok, because I'm not on TikTok at this time, of people that were complaining of these physiological, very negative symptoms, and also more and more stories again about pets. And that's something that I spoke about last night with Michael on my interview about, is my pets were not acting normal and have not been acting normal since about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when we had some fog and then we had those weird snow incidents where the snow it felt kind of plasticky. It just didn't feel right. And I brought some in. I don't know if I said this last week, but I brought some in and put it on the table, and it seemed like it took a really long time to melt. It just felt kind of slimy and plasticky. So those are a couple of things that we need to be aware of. It should be on our radar, and we should be questioning everything at this point. Why are people across the globe, not just in our country, but like we talked about last week, in the United Kingdom, in Germany, having these symptoms after this fog? Why are there people, and after rain, having this weird stuff happen, like this rock salty, crystallized, almost looks like Herkimer diamondy stuff fall out of the sky, or this icy, what is supposed to be snow that has like razor sharp edges to it? It's just so bizarre. And how do we protect ourselves from something like smart dust? We've talked about Morgellons and things like that in the past. Again, a lot of that was even way back on my shows 8 years ago. And this is something that partially I was shown in vision. And we need to be paying attention to this. Putting your protective force field out there, praying and meditating and protecting yourselves and your environments, i.e. your homes, your property, your loved ones, and setting the intent that this will all get washed over. It'll pass over. It won't affect you. And let's just do, if we could, a global scenario for that. Let's all focus, if we could, on this not affecting people and our pets negatively, that we're protected, that there's like this force field or bubble over us, and that we have angels around us protecting us. That's your first line of defense that you can do mentally, as well as mentally strengthening yourself every day and saying, look, I'm not going to be a victim of this. This is not the timeline or the life that I choose. So I'm going to say that this is not going to affect me. This is not going to affect me or my loved ones or my pets. And then you want to strengthen yourself immunologically, and you want to make sure that you're taking the vitamins, the supplements, getting your rest, getting your water, getting your sunshine, and doing all the things that you can do on a physical level to also keep your body strong. Do your detoxes. Now more than ever is very important for you to detox your body. Research ways to do that. I have a foot ionizer machine. You can, if you don't have a lot of money in the purification systems in your home, please, now is the time that you really need to institute that type of thing. And like we talked about before, house plants, charcoal bags, Himalayan salt lamps, essential oils to purify the air, colloidal silver to pump through your little misters and your little humidifying machines, everything and anything that you can do to prevent even a small portion of that going through your body. There are also some videos out there on YouTube that claim to be able to eradicate some of this stuff. I'm not a huge advocate of a lot of them. There are two that I listen to on occasion because I think their videos are very well produced, and I think they held some credence to them because I tested them. They have subliminals in them, though, so if you have the strength of mind and you can do that on your own, that's great. And also there are some with like binaural beats and musical beats, which we know that music heals. We know that different frequencies help to heal the body. That's been proven. I've talked about this time and again on my shows about people with Alzheimer's and dementia and the healing power of music and the power of music to heal your moods, as long as it's got the right frequencies in it. If you're aware of your own body enough, you will be able to feel that. You'll have that inner resonance with the music, or you won't. And if you don't, shut it off. Things like tuning forks and singing bowls and all of that. You've heard me talk about my work with tuning forks. I'm absolutely an advocate for them. They do help in the healing process, so you might want to look into that. Do whatever you can to strengthen and solidify your well-being physically and mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, this guy also did a video on the Matthew Livesberger, I'm slaughtering his name, but about the New Jersey drones too. So I want to play a couple more clips from his video about the car that exploded. This one's going to be a little lengthier, but there's a lot of information in there that I think is important. And it saves me from reiterating it all, so here you go.
The new development in the New Jersey drone situation, and that it's tied to the Tesla Cybertruck explosion in Vegas. The suspect, Matthew Livelsberger, was a former Green Beret in the Special Forces of the U.S. Army. He served from 2006 to 2011, and he was part of a number of tours from Afghanistan to Africa to Tajikistan. After being relieved from active duty in 2011, he went on to be in the National Guard from 2011 to 2012. And in December 2012, he went back to active duty. He returned to active duty as a U.S. Army Special Operations soldier and was assigned to the U.S. Army Special Operations Command. In addition to his combat roles, Livelsberger held positions that involved advanced technological and operational responsibilities. His expertise extended to overseeing drone operations and maintenance, highlighting his proficiency in integrating advanced technologies into the military and its strategies. It was initially thought that the explosion was a terrorist attack, but this may not be the case. Before the January 1st explosion, Mr. Livelsberger sent numerous emails to Sean Ryan, and he sent the absolute bombshell email to former intelligence officer Sam Shumate. Sam also advocates for whistleblowers and their protection. The email reads as follows: "In case I do not make it to my decision point or on to the Mexican border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until January 1st and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a black 2006 Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China in the East Coast. But throughout history, only we in China have this capability. Our open location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic and from submarines for years. But this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they use the balloon SIGINT and ISR. SIGINT means signal intelligence, and ISR means intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. The US government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week, now from likely Homeland or FBI. They are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID. A VBID is a vehicle-based IED bomb. For vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg, or Matthew Livelsberger. An active duty 18 Zulu out of 1 to 10, my profile is public. I have an active top secret security clearance with UAP and USAP access. I'd like to point out that none of this email has been confirmed. The only fact that has been confirmed is that, yes, it was written by Matthew Livelsberger himself. And this is per the Vegas PD. Check it.
Okay, here they have the Vegas PD talking about the suspect and what they think of his mental health or don't think of his mental health. I'm just going to skip through that. The video is Vegas Cybertruck incident leads to new info on drones, if you want to look it up. So continuing on.
I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civilian casualties that killed hundreds of civilians in a day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on the initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in the central communications. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA and Agent Redacted of the DEA, so I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with Jen Miller's 10 staff on this as well as the response to the Bala Merg. AOBS commander can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Apparently China and the US have gravitic drones, UAPs capable of being launched from submarines or by ship, and they can apparently carry one heck of a payload. Does that mean that there aren't aliens? No. But the Chinese have apparently been using this tech since the early 2000s, and the United States even before that. Again, this can't be verified absolutely, but nevertheless, it's looking like it is the case. Now he at one point also says in the beginning the coordinates for the operation center, and that was at Groom Lake, aka Area 51. Check it out. It's also mentioned on the Sean Ryan show that there's a good chance he may have faked his death so he could elude the men that were after him for whistleblowing. Now, before I go, I'd like to go over some of Mr. Livelsberger's credentials and awards while in service. He had a Bronze Star Medal with Valor, Bronze Star Medal, 4 awards, Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal with Value, Army Commendation Medal, 3 awards, Army Achievement Medal, 2 awards, Army Good Conduct Medal, 5 awards, National Defense Services Medal, Afghan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, 3 awards, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Non-Commissioned Officer Professional Development Ribbon, 3 awards, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Service Ribbon, NATO Medal, 2 awards, Special Forces Tab, Combat Infantryman Badge, Parachutist Badge, Freefall Badge. So needless to say, y'all, dude has a pile of credentials and a pile of awards. He's a seasoned veteran in the military. Green Berets are some of the elite of our military. They're up there with the Navy SEALs. So this man was knowledgeable and he knew what he was doing. If he wanted to, his uncle was quoted as saying if he wanted to, he could have blown up half that hotel. Not just put a couple propane tanks in a Tesla. Now let's keep in mind, why would he use a Tesla and blow that up? Well, because they're supposedly bulletproof. They may keep the explosion contained because he didn't want to hurt anybody. Also, Teslas drive themselves. I've read that he was already in New Mexico when the explosion took place that morning. So because Teslas drive themselves, but they need hands on the steering wheel in order to do so, he set it up, had the hands on the steering wheel of whatever he used. Then he preset the route to drive itself in front of Trump Towers, sit there for a moment. He made sure the coast was clear. Then he set the charge remotely from a long ways away. Then on the Sean Ryan show, they said that the DNA of the victim didn't match his own son's. Well, whoever was investigating it thought, oh, he must have crashed out because his wife had an affair. But anybody who does this or knows how to look at these situations My first thought was, oh, well, yeah, he faked it. He faked his death to hide from authorities, I guess. The other tell was the fact that all of his identification went unburned. It was more or less saved in the fire. He must have put them in a spot where he knew that they wouldn't burn completely. So all that identification pointed to him as well. Perfect setup. Then there's video of him at charging stations along the way. He had to stop at like 7 or 8 charging stations. And every time he did, he wore a headlamp. And when you look at a camera with a headlamp on, there's no way to tell who that person is when they have a headlamp on. It basically whitewashes the entire camera. So he had that on the whole time as well. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, dude. This guy is a true professional. They trained him, and probably as an asset, he cost them millions of dollars to train. He was a Green Beret. He was active duty pretty much his entire career. This guy was a genius. He was the director of drone operations, for Pete's sake. So he knew this was coming down on him. He knew his life was in the balance.
Okay, so very interesting stuff there, in my opinion. I wanted to bring it to your attention. It was a lengthy clip, and I apologize, but he summarized everything better than I could because he had a literal laundry list of this man's achievements, which lends credibility, in my opinion, to his story, to his testimony. And, you know, this guy did a video too, talking about the New Jersey drones, what you need to know, share your theories in the comments. And in that one, he makes a brief statement about people stating that when the drones went over, their clocks, their times changed, which he said is indicative of an EMP situation. I'm not familiar with that. Maybe somebody else could speak to that, but I thought that was interesting knowledge as well. And then he said that somebody or people tried to fly their drones next to the drones that were up in the air, their own personal equipment, and when they started to get close, either their batteries went dead on their drones or their batteries died before they could even get them off the ground. So there's absolutely some high-tech stuff going on here, and I wanted to bring to you as much information as I could regarding the situation so that you can make your own determinations and just stay aware. It's past time for my break again. I always seem to run over with these hour shows. After all this time, I still can't get used to just an hour. My introduction and exit music is always by my good buddy Pat Carr. You can reach him at http://www.itunes.com/Pat Carr. Please check him out on SoundClick, Reverb Nation, YouTube. He is all over the place and support his music. Tell him Maggie sent you. Tonight's musical break is going to be a special little clip, and my song this evening is by my good buddy Barry Cooney. Barry's also an original artist from Canada, eh? Hey Bear, how you liking the change in administration with Trudeau stepping down? Hope all's well with you, buddy. You can reach me and let me know how much you liked his music so that I can pass it along to Barry. And we'll be back after this break to talk about some spiritual stuff and what I see, some of the things I see coming for the year ahead. Get ready and hold on to your hats. It's going to be a really wild ride. I hope you like roller coasters because that's the path we're on, up and down. Please support the network. We are totally listener funded. We appreciate anything that you can offer us. Please check out the main page in the chat room. And if you have your own business and want to be a superstar, please consider sponsoring a spot on our network, whether it be on my show or any of the others or just the network in general. And if you don't have a commercial, please let the owner know, and I'm sure that he and the producer can come up with something that's amazing, that's mutually beneficial for you to share your business on the air with our listeners and to support us at the same time. Again, you can reach me at Maggie, MAGGIE_heart at outlook.com for all of your spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional needs. You're listening to the Positude podcast. We'll be back after this.
Well, I've decided to change my life. Well, I've decided I don't need a wife. I've decided to change my plans. Well, I've decided, but I only got two hands. I've decided to do it on my own. Well, I've decided that anywhere is home. I've decided I gotta start anew. And I've decided to do it all without you. Brighter days are coming, I see the sun in sight. The gray clouds are going and I'm feeling alright. I was a rich man, but now I'm broke. I was a strong man, I fight any bloke. I was a good guy, but now I'm bad. Now I'll make up for the rough times I've had. I'm gonna find me a better way. I'm gonna teach me fancy things to say. I'm gonna drive me a great big car and fill the tank up and go very far. I don't need nobody to waste my time. The hell with the system, 'cause I'm feeling fine. Brighter days are coming, I see the sun in sight. The gray clouds are going and I'm feeling alright.
And we're back for the second half of the Positude podcast. I'm your host, Maggie Hart, and that was I've Decided by Barry Cooney with a little surprise thrown in, Fire and Ice. That is what we're going to see for this year, folks. Strap in and get ready for a wild ride. In the essence of time, I'm going to make these predictions just based on our spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional needs. I've been telling you for years, get ready, work on yourselves, prepare yourselves, develop your intuition, develop especially your sense of discernment. You need to come to grips with your own reality, and you can shape your own reality to some degree. We were all bestowed with gifts and abilities that we have been blessed with by birth, and we have been given the free will, whether or not we want to work on that and go higher. You can go higher. You can be better. You can be the best version of yourself that you choose to be. But that's part of the crux of this year. It truly is going to be a roller coaster ride of ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of disclosure. There's going to be a lot of truth that comes to light. We are starting to see the fall of religion. A lot of people are waking up. I've expressed this many times on my shows. My concern is that we're not waking up as quickly as I would like for us to be waking up. However, we are waking up. And in light of that, what we need to keep our focus on is that there's going to be a lot of craziness that ensues as a result. Because as people start to wake up and realize the atrocities that have been done to us by the people that we put into power, people are going to be angry. They're going to go off the hook. They're not going to be able to come to grips emotionally with the fact that we have been used as guinea pigs pawns, we've been played on, we've been preyed on for years. And so as people start to realize this, as they start to really discover some of the just totally pure evil that's taken over this planet, they're not going to be able to deal with it well. As they learn things and as they uncover things and they digest these things, some people will be overcome. It'll almost be like a feeding frenzy, where when they start to come to grips with what's been going on, they're going to be encompassed with that. They're going to try and unearth and uncover all of the information that they can about everything that's been done to us. The music industry, the government, money, politics, religion, all of that. And I need to caution people, as you start to wake up, if you've decided that you finally realize that most of what's been going on for the past however long has been a show, it's been a falsity, we've been lied to, we've been used, please take it slow. Please don't try and absorb everything all at once, because I have actually many clients over the years that as they've woken up, they've just become engrossed with finding out the truth, and they've taken on too much at one time. This is part of the reason that the government is giving us some disclosure. Some of it is because they are spoon feeding us for what they know to be true. Some of it is because they're spoon feeding us for the agenda that they have set for us, for what they'd like for us to believe. And that was what I indicated at the beginning of the show. The technological stuff, the computerized stuff, the AI generated stuff, so much of it is false. And so much of it has an agenda that we have to have our prayerful discernment to be able to go with our gut. We need to develop our intuition. It should be by now, but we need to develop our intuition to the point where we feel it in our gut. It resonates if it's right. It doesn't. It turns our stomach. It makes us angry if it's wrong. But while we come to grips with all of this, we need to make sure that we pace ourselves if we're new to the game, because mentally it's so much to handle. I have people that I know that I speak to that have been woken for 2 to 3 years now. COVID woke them up, that whole scenario. In some cases, the Trump election, the last one, not this current one, but the last one, is what woke them up. And they'll still say to me, all these years later, I can't handle that. I can't think about this. I can't think about that, because it'll make me angry or it'll make me upset and I can't deal with it. I have to take things at my own level, at my own pace. And that's great, because if you overindulge in it and you become engrossed in it, it will cause so many emotional problems for you. You won't be able to sleep. You won't be able to eat. It'll be like when I've had some of the most intense visions that I've had, when there have been atrocities that have been shown to me. It was a very troublesome time, and it takes an ability to be able to filter out and work through those emotions. And as people wake up, the anger that will be upon them will, especially if they're of an impulsive personality, may cause them to do things rashly, to act out of character, because they're so angry and agitated at the situation, and because they finally realize that they've been lied to and the extent that they've been lied to. They may have the urge to be violent, to go and try and do terrible things, to get back at the people who have done atrocities to them, especially if they've lost a loved one in the light of the COVID scenario. And this is where I'm going to say we have to be careful and we have to be mindful. As you wake up, please digest everything, think about it, pray about it, meditate about it, and take it slow, take it a little bit at a time, and think things through. Because we have, I don't know if anybody follows the Schumann resonance and the geomagnetic pulses, but the time that we have now coming into this year on the planet is a very unique time. And the way that the planets and the stars are aligning, energetically, that does make a difference. And we've not seen this particular type of alignment except in past periods of really intense wartime, like World War II, or big stuff. These are the same type of alignments that are coming in this year, where in the past has been times where we've been into major turmoil and war situations. So we need to make sure that we keep our heads about us. And if you have that type of personality to begin with, this is only going to become exacerbated as you wake up. And as, even for those that are awake, more atrocities are brought to light, more lies are shown, more truth is brought into the picture. And so if you already have a volatile personality or a off-the-cuff personality, this is a time that you really want to make sure that you keep yourself under control and that you stop and take that breath and take that time to pray and meditate and bring yourself back to balance. Because as a whole, I see a lot of people waking up. And if they all have that same type of mindset, we could find ourselves in a very volatile situation that really goes downhill very quickly. Now, having said that, you have to own your own shit. This is definitely reality check time. If you have issues and anger issues, it's going to get worse. The aggression can be off the hook. You need to make sure that you stay calm. Get over it. I'm not taking whatever personal challenges that you've had lately, but you need to work through that, and you need to get healed, and you need to get right with yourself and with your creative force, whatever you choose to believe in. Just like there isn't a middle class really to speak of anymore in our country, I don't see much of a middle class in this energy that's coming forth. Basically, I see the people that are going to feel sorry for themselves and get angry and just be totally volatile at the situation and not do anything to work on themselves. And that's going to keep them on that lower vibration, i.e., very possibly the lower timeline. The people that are working on themselves and that are doing well with their spiritual work and that are making sure that they're eating the right foods, drinking water, taking care of themselves physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, those are the people that are going to be more well equipped to handle these situations as they unfold, especially because they've done the work. They've sort of semi-trained themselves to be prepared for this type of situation and to keep themselves under control. And those are the people that are going to rise and they're going to ascend. This is the ascension kind of time that the New Ages talk about. It's all happening starting this year. So look for a lot of technological issues, look for a lot more of the computer hacking and the identity theft and all of that. We're going to have leaps and bounds technologically this year. Some are going to be good, some are going to be apparently good, but really not for the best interests of humanity. And some are going to be just plain bad. And we need to be able to discern what's what with that. And because of the Schumann resonance, because of the energy of the planet, it's a very volatile time and it's an up and down time. It truly is like a roller coaster. It is like fire and ice, hot and cold. We're going to start to see the fall of religions. We're going to start to see the technology is just so tricky right now that we really, again, we need to work on our discernment to make sure that we can just be able to tell what's real and what's not. Also with people that are close to us. So I decided for a reason, because this is a time on our planet where the people, as they awaken, have decided that, look, I've had enough. I've had enough of this really bad relationship. I've had enough of verbal, physical, mental, emotional abuse. It's time for me to rise and shine. It's time for me to take care of myself, my needs, my health, my well-being. And they're starting to put themselves first. And this might be very uncharacteristic for those people that are healers, that are empaths, that maybe previously even were codependent. They're starting to work on themselves and they've finally made a decision, me first. And that's not from a selfish perspective. They're wanting to be better people and they're wanting to be whole and complete. And they have every right to be that way. They've had enough of the drama. And they're going to move forward with their lives, and they are going to be on the higher ascension path. Those people that are still complaining, that are still feeling sorry for themselves, that are still blaming everyone else, are going to be on that lower path. And there's nothing that we can do about that. We need to take care of ourselves at this point first so that we're better able and equipped to take care of others that truly deserve it. Roll with the changes. I think it was REO Speedwagon. That's how we need to be. We need to be fluid this year. We need to be able to face our challenges and be able to roll with them. There are going to be so many ups and downs, and it's going to be drastic lows and really high highs. It's just going to be an incredible run. And if you come at it from the right perspective, you will be successful. These are the people that are going to see drastic changes in their psychic abilities for the better. Telepathy is going to be a huge thing this year. As we grow together and as people start to wake up, you've heard me say before that we are a hive mindset. That group, that unified consciousness, is going to up our telepathic abilities exponentially. We're going to be able to speak without speaking in our minds. We're going to be able to communicate telepathically. We're going to be able to send messages in our minds to those that we're close to. And once the collective whole starts to rise, it's going to become more and more of a daily occurrence for those that have done the work and have truly risen above. It's going to be a serious test. Even for those that have done the work and think they're where they need to be, the volatility level at times will be high because as they start to uncover more information, it's going to make a lot of people upset. But if you've done the work, you'll be able to handle yourself in a calm, cool manner. You'll be able to have the ability to siphon through things and think it over before you react. And if you have that personality, please take a step back, take a breather, think before you speak, think before you act. Because as a sort of a hive mindset, the energy that you put out there it's catchy. And the energy that you spread goes to other people. And if we have a lot of people being volatile and pissed off, as I said earlier, that could be a very bad time for society. But if you've worked on it and you've done your healing work and you continue to physically take care of your body and mentally and spiritually take care of your body, you are going to be so stoked over what happens for you and with you. The manifestation abilities are going to go through the roof. And that's another thing. Everything's going to happen a lot more quickly than what you're used to. So if you've been working on your prayer and meditation, and you've been working on your positive thinking, whatever it is, to get what you want, don't be surprised if now, once you've worked on yourselves with these energies coming in, it doesn't happen much more quickly than you could have even possibly have ever imagined before. It's going to be almost instantaneous at times, to the point where you're going to go, holy shit, did that really just happen? I just thought about that 30 seconds ago. Yeah, it's really going to happen if you have the right mindset and if you've done the work. And so I'm going to talk about those timeline splits for a minute, because I have seen where with the shift, there are going to be those that are left behind and there are going to be those that are going to rise. And in the beginning, it's going to be that split that's kind of decisive, and it's going to be blatantly obvious to you because you've already started to cast away people that aren't good for you. You've already cut ties with people that aren't for your best interests and in your best interests. In that they're not people that are good for you to become a positive spiritual person. So you've separated, or you're going to separate from those people. These are family members, these are friends you've had for 20, 25 years. You're just going to realize at first maybe that you just don't fit anymore. And in the personal relationship column, there's going to be just, that's it, I'm done, I'm through, and you're going to mean it. And the other person, if they know you characteristically, oh my goodness, they always forgive me. They always say, once I say I'm sorry, they get over it. They're going to be very shocked when you don't go back this time around. When you're like, no, I mean it, I'm done, and I'm done. And you don't go back. They're going to be shocked. But those are the people that are still feeling sorry for themselves, that are still blaming you for all of their transgressions, that still have their ego in control of their personas. And they're just not going to see. And it doesn't matter. You need to let that go. You need to wipe your feet, dust off your sandals, and leave. And not look back. If they choose to ascend at some point, if they choose to come to the higher path, and ascend, I don't mean in a new age type of way, but if they choose to do their own work and become better people, then they too someday will be along the path that you are. However, this is going to be a very decisive split. Make no mistake, there's not going to be any doubt as to which side of the fence people are on. You'll be able to sense it. Your intuitive abilities will be so heightened that you'll know pretty much just by looking at a person or looking into their eyes which way they're going to go. And you may not know how to put it into words, but you'll just feel it. This person isn't like me. Or this person is like I used to be, but not who I am anymore. I'm different now. The exposure of the false religion is going to be a huge hit for people that have followed these religions their entire lives, that have based their entire lives on a belief structure that has had so much falsehood and so much negativity and so much evil engrossed in it, right into the very fibers of the existence of that religion, that it's going to be a very heavy blow for people. So please treat people with courtesy and kindness and respect. Respect where they are on their journey. You don't need to join them and back up and help them along that walk. You can help to a certain degree. You can support the people that are truly trying, but don't go back 2 miles to pick up that guy that's fallen on the side of the road that you've given 100 chances to before and they didn't do the work. It's time for them to step up and do their own part. A lot of you have been feeling physically off, tired, and just want to sleep. And so you're already starting to feel the effects of the Schumann resonance and of the energies of the planet. That's going to continue in spurts, but it will get better. You're going to eventually have more energy than you know what to do with. It's just not going to happen right away. And mentally, you need to program your mind so that when you have these pitfalls, you're able to pray and meditate, clear that negativity out, and stay on the positive path. You're going to have ups and downs in your mood swings, okay? And you're going to have ups and downs in your personal lives. But if you've done the work, the highs will be higher than possibly you could have even imagined, and the lows will be surmountable. They'll be something that you can overcome. And we have the guidance and the blessing of our Creator and the angels to help us along the way. Please reach out, ask for help if you need it, spiritually as well as physically from a friend. Also, please be patient with the people that I was talking about before, the really crazy volatile people. Crazy volatile? Well, in some cases. In some cases, just impulsive and high energy, high temper. Remember that they're going to have those same highs and those same lows. So when they get to a rock bottom low, they haven't been able to deal with it before. And now these waves are so much more marked. They're so much higher and so much lower that when they come to a tragic or a rock bottom scenario, we need to be able to at least offer them encouragement and support so that, God forbid, they don't do anything to try and physically hurt themselves. Also, it's something to consider. Please, look out for them that way. You don't need to be their whipping post. You don't need to be their psychic vampire victim, but you can offer them words of encouragement and direct them to a hotline or a counselor that can help them should they contact you. With that being said, be the cannoli Be the strufoli of the dessert world. Be sticky sweet and a little bit of a hard shell, but soft on the inside. Colored sprinkles on top, because we all like to look good, right? So many of us have worked hard physically to get into shape, and you're working on your bodies, and that's awesome. It's excellent to see. Now let's take care of the other stuff. It's time to focus on the other aspects. But yeah, be the cannoli, be the strufoli. And we'll take this ride together. More to come next week. I am over my time. We'll talk about more things next week to be on the lookout for. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.